Hello everyone and welcome to my hobby home. My name is Kathy. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to come and sit with me. Today or right now we are working on our Silverstone and we will be sashing it. The top and bottom sashings. I guess maybe I need to pull my pattern out and just see how the sashing is going to work. And I will let y'all know that I have pre-sewn my strips, and I didn't sew enough together. I don't think I'm going to get all the way to putting the whole thing together. But if I do, I can do one row at a time, put it together, and then I can finish the rest of it and bring it back to you guys. So, let's just get started on our quilt here. I have one of my rows here. I am going to take one of my strips. I have one that is too short, so let me make sure this is not it. Just making sure here, running this along. Nope, it looks like this one is going to be long enough. It looks like I need to do this one along the bottom. So my first strip is going to be on the bottom. I know I've got this thing all over the place. Oh goodness. I have to make sure I have it turned the correct direction as well, that I'm not sewing my bottom sashing the wrong direction. And what I mean by that, it does have a seam in it to where I attach the two with the fabrics, and that needs to be turned facing upward. And I'm just going to get on into this. And for our new people, there is a Facebook group if you would like to join. I do have the link down in the description for you. If you would like to do the Silverstone, I also have the link in the description for that. There is a post for the Silverstone in the Facebook group. If you would like to post anything about your Silverstone, you're more than welcome. Please put it under the Silverstone post. I'm going to move things out of the way here. It looks like it's causing it to push my paper around. We are sewing everything on 1/4 of an inch today. Just making sure that I am on that my sashing in my panel, or not panel, my row is even. We don't want to get off with that. We want to make sure everything stays even. And we may not have an hour video today, and that will be okay if we don't. It's just however long it takes me to get the sashings that I do have sewn together, put on, and I have not sewn my strips together for my top and side, top, bottom, and sides yet. because I honestly thought that the number of strips I sewed together, oh, this looks like it's going to be a little short. I need to stretch it just a bit. Making sure I'm staying even there. Okay, so I've got that one done, and let's just go to our next one. I don't guess it really matters where it is. Well, it does matter, because one end, well, no, neither end has sashing on it. That's right, because we're doing one on the side. I forget. I forget, yo. I forget things like that. But, so what I am going to do is just take my row and just start sewing that sashing on. And what I'm going to do is make sure I'm even. So guys, how has your week been? I mean, has it been a long week, hot week, weathered week? Today we've had, I guess, pretty good weather. I've sewn all day today, which has been just lovely. I've really enjoyed just getting to sew all day today. Now, when I get done with these strips, I will need to check and make sure that on all of my sashings, I did catch them, because most of my sashings looks like the sashings between the squares. Looks like my sashings were just a little short, and I'm hoping they're not 1/4 of an inch short. And I don't know how that is. I really thought that I was cutting everything the correct size, and somehow I didn't. Which I might have actually cut it the correct size. It's like my finished block might have been a little bigger, because I didn't trim anything down. I don't recall trimming down. I could have trimmed down. I just don't recall if I did or not. But now we are on our second row here. And we are just getting this done. Okay. So now is going to be my next row. I'm going to take my row here, get me a strip here, just make sure that seam is facing upward. So guys, how many of you have your Silverstone completed? I've seen a few of them out there in the Facebook group. They're beautiful, they're lovely. I've seen we have some people that are just now able to get started on theirs. I'm so happy that you're able to get started on it. You may fall in love with it just like most of us have, because I love this pattern. But of course, I don't know too many patterns that well. Yeah, I do. I know a few that I'm not too fond of. But this is a very easy pattern. easy to adapt and change the sizes. You could enlarge it really easy. I think you could actually just take charm packs, and instead of cutting them down to the 4.5-inch squares, just leave them at the 5 inches. And now, of course, you would have to cut your sashing, you know, kind of after the fact, after you see how big it's going to be. Yeah, I've got some raveling going on here. That's okay. I've got it taken care of with my little scissors. I really do think that this pattern is very versatile to be made, you know, a crib quilt all the way down to, or up to, a king size bed quilt. I do not think it would be too hard to do that. Now this is a throw size, which is larger than a crib quilt. I think it's going to be larger than a crib quilt. But I think if you add one more, because I think I was doing the calculations. I used a layer cake. And I think if you add one more layer cake, you make this on the upper end of a queen size quilt. I think. I can't remember. I have been doing calculations on so many different quilts here lately. I can't remember which one was which. And yeah, I'm trimming as I go because I don't want to have a mess over here. And it looks like my length is coming out spot on. We're just getting these sashed on up. And I think if I get all of the strips done that I have, I am probably going to just put the rows together that I do have done. And then I will get the others done, you know, the other strips done later. But I think I should get I think I only need like 2 more strips, maybe. All my sashings are falling here. Let me get my sashing and see which direction I need it to go. And y'all, if this isn't random, I don't know what is, because I'm not looking at the colors. I'm not looking at anything. I'm just putting these down here and just sewing, getting it put together, and I think it's going to be just as pretty no matter anyway, so. I'm kind of getting in the zone here and just not even paying attention. And forget I have you guys. So I hope y'all are getting your sewing done as well today. Even if it's not the Silverstone, which is okay if it's not. Y'all probably get more time to sew your Silverstone than I do. I literally get about an hour and a half every week with you guys. That's all I'm getting done a week. I may do a little bit of sewing, you know, after the fact. A lot of times after I edit a video, I will, you know, as I'm waiting for it to export or upload, I will finish whatever that step is, which I'll probably do with this one as well. I'll probably go on and sew my other sashings together and get them put on. See, this sashing is a little bit short. I don't know how they're short because I measured out and I actually cut it about 1/4 of an inch longer than it needed to be. So my guess is I probably need to be making sure I'm putting some tension on it there to pull it a little longer there. So I've gotten, looks like I may have 1, maybe 2 strips left. I think that other one is too short and I need to add more to it to make it long enough. Because I actually think I only got 5 strips out of this. But if that's, well, this may be the short one. Yeah, I think this may be the short one. It may be, it may not be, but I will see. Let me just check it real quick. That one's going to be fine. And if you're just now starting the Silverstone, be patient with yourself, because once you get all of your little squares and all cut, that's the hardest part of the whole thing, is getting all of the pieces cut. And then you have to do the, I call them snowballs. I think that's what they're called. I'm not exactly sure if that's what they're called, but you put your little square on the corner of your 4.5 inch square just to make that corner. And that does take a little time as well, because you have to, I have to mark all of my pieces, and that is what, cutting the fabric took me longer than piecing it. You know, piecing the rows. But overall, it has been a very easy quilt to make, you know, to put together. It's been very easy. Now, like I said, all that cutting that fabric was a lot. Just making sure it's still long enough. But after I get my sashings, these sashings put on, I don't know if I'm going to press it or attach the rows together. I don't know. I've not decided on that yet. But I do know that I hope to be piecing, or not piecing, putting all the rows together tonight. I do know I still need at least 2 more strips. So whatever that looks like. Okay, so let me check this. I think this one is too short. I'm pretty certain that one is too short. So now what I'm going to do is take these rows that I have together already, and I'm just going to put these in my tray. Move my tray out of the way. I'm not even going to press. I'm just going to pull these. And I know this one is going to be my top one. So what I need to do is get my top and separate these two. And this is going to be my next row. So I know this one, we need to open this up. And what I am going to do is take this and put the side that doesn't have the sashing on the sashing. Now I am going to make sure that it lines up at that top with this piece back here. Like this strip, I'm making sure this lines up with that, not necessarily the top of the sashing. Now I really want to sew on the sashing side, so what I am going to do is turn and start on this end, because like I said, I want to start on the sashing. I want to sew on the sashing side. Now this may be a little difficult, and I may decide I don't like doing it like this after this first row, but I feel like the sashing has no seams in it, which will make it easier to sew on. Now, I don't know how my blocks and these blocks are turning out. I don't have a clue. I'm not looking at it. I do know that is a possible problem to have, that the blocks are not lining up together. That's very possible. Doesn't really matter, though, if it doesn't. I mean, I do want them to line up, but if they don't, I'm not going to sweat it. So we are just getting the rows done at this time. Trying to finish the top for our Silverstone. I am using Corey Yoder's Starberry line of fabric. If you want to do one that looks something similar to what mine looks like, I am using the Starberry. I do always use Aurifil Dove thread. So those are some things I use. If you ever see anything that I use in any of my videos and you would like to look at it more closely, you're more interested in looking at it, I do have a link for everything that, most everything actually, that I use in quilting down in the description. Now I almost have this row put together, these two rows put together. I am going to check it and see what my sashing stuff looks like. I'm going to see if they all line up. They may not. I have heard of people pinning them together to make sure they don't get off center, but I don't know that it didn't really matter to me. Yeah, my sashings got off, but I don't know. I may need to pin those because these did get off pretty bad. Yeah, those got off really bad. I'm going to need to press this, so one moment, let me press. Okay, y'all, my sashing, they're off really bad. Look. I don't know if you can see that right there, but I think I'm going to lay one on top and try to nest the seams. So it's going to require me to lay this here, and let me get my next row. Oh, everything is sliding down, sliding down. Y'all see my little bag? I do have the video on me making this. This came out of the Open Gate quilt box, the July. And oh, I gotta turn this the other direction. Oh goodness, I'm dropping everything too. Okay, let's see if we can get this done now. What we are going to have to do is sash. We're already sashed. We have to. Okay, I'm going to try to nest the two seams here One goes in, one goes out, so that should nest perfect. Easier said than done. Okay, so that is good. Woo, that put that way off, didn't it? Well, and what we are going to do is pin this up. I think this may be how I have to do it, is pin it in order to nest my seams. Going to even that up and get these seams nested. I'm going to see if this helps. I don't know if it is, but it does not hurt to try it and see. So what I'm going to do up here is pin the seam, and then up here pin the seam. I'm nesting them down here where the seams actually meet. And this way, if I have any stretch that needs to happen between the blocks, it can do that between each block and not at the end. So now we're on our next seam. And I may speed you guys through this so you don't have to sit here and feel the pain of me nesting all these seams. But just kind of so you can see, a possible thing that can happen with sashings is they don't meet up or they don't flow well. It's not necessarily that they're not meeting up because they're not supposed to, but they're not even. And if I have to do this to every row, it really may take me a while to complete this quilt. And we're almost at an hour right now, and it's a little late. Yes, I am sewing at night. I like to sew in the morning. I've been sewing all day, so it's not that I don't sew during the day. I do. It's just when I sew during the day, I sew a lot. Like today, I've been sewing almost all day. And it is probably about 10. Yeah, it's about 9:45, somewhere in there. 9:45-ish. Now I'm really trying to stick to my smashing my stash, but I seem to keep adding to it, but I think I've done fairly well. I know July was my no by July. Let's face it, that ain't gonna happen. That didn't happen. Mainly because I do have to buy fabrics to finish quilts. So I will always have the fabric, you know, I'll always have to buy fabrics each month to finish a quilt. Gracious, I heard a cat just knock something over in there. Okay, so we are going to try this and see if this works. I've got all these pins in here. Let's hope the pins stay in the fabric and not in me. I have a tendency of doing that, but let's hope. I'm hoping on hope here. Let's get this set down. I'm going to go on and get that needle down in this fabric here so I can get that first pin out and I can see where I'm going. My rows, they're getting a little heavy and they're pulling over here. So let's hope that we get that 1/4 of an inch, because it pulls it away, so it makes it kind of difficult. Okay, I think I need to pull the pins out for the center, but I'm not for the sashings, but I think I'm going to leave those in there. Maybe those will help keep things together and aligned, I'm hoping. keeping my fingers crossed, y'all. I really hope this helps match up those sashings so they look like they match up. Because see, like that one there doesn't match up. But I'm thinking since I pinned them together, they may, even if they don't match up exactly, maybe they're so close that you can't tell. And for me, no, it really does not matter. But I want to see how, if in the future I'm making a quilt for somebody, how I would help that not happen. I am totally in learning mode right now on this, because I don't know that I've ever had anything. I don't know that I've ever had anything to sash. I might, and I just don't remember it. Not quite like this, though. I might have had something to sash that I just don't recall. The truth will be revealed here in just a little bit. We will see what this is going to look like. Okay, let me see here. I've got to make sure I am, yep, that's all even there. I am at the end. Okay, let's see. I'm going to take the pins out first, because I do need to press this. I'm going to take all these pins out where I pinned those sashings together. Guys, we are almost at an hour already, but I know I had some pressing and all in there, and the pinning, and all the goods. But one moment, let me press. I will bring this back to you and let you see what it looks like, and that we will end the video there. Okay, guys, I have got this pressed. So this is the top row. See how those aren't lining up real well? This is the bottom row. It did really good. So what I may have to do is I may take the top one off and try to do the same thing, so it does look like the other section. But guys, that looks really good. I do like that. It does look really good. So what I'm going to be doing over this next week, if I have time, is I am going to be finishing my sashings. I don't have any more of that fabric, so I'm hoping I have enough for all of my sashings. I'm going to try to finish my sashings and then try to sew all of them together. And if I get them all sewn together, I will put a post out there in the Facebook group, or I may bring y'all along to do the last bit of sashings. I don't know yet. It's just according to how far I get in the week. So guys, I'm going to shut us down right here. If you have any comments about this, I mean, hey, I didn't know that's what I needed to do, but it is nice to have seen that, and that's pretty neat. I think that you need to nest those seams on that top and bottom, even though you've got sashing in there. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. I do try to respond to each and every comment personally. And as always, until I see you again, I hope you have a very blessed day. Goodbye.